We're live. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
All
Hey,
right.
what's going on, everybody? It's Rich Perez welcoming you back into another dose of your weekly rundown. Of course, joining as always, my co-host, my brother all the way from the UK, Son Davis. How you doing, Kay?
Yo. I'm doing good. We had a couple technical difficulties there, but I think we got it now, guys.
Yeah, man. We back. We back. We back. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see. That's what I definitely like to see. So we have a special edition, as you guys see here. We, for the first time ever, we are live. Not only are we live, but we are live for a reason. There's NBA free agency going on right now, so this is kind of our NBA free agency show. I want to get right to the big news so far of today. It just came out within the hour, and that was actually that um, Gordon Hayward has signed a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Charlotte Hornets. His agent Mark Bartelstein of Priority Sports confirmed with Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN he is now leaving the Celtics, where he was at the time really a fourth option on that team, and he's going to a situation in Charlotte where he's about second option, maybe first option with rookie LaMelo Ball in there. My thoughts on it is I like it. You kind of pointed it out before we came on here that you gotta pay these guys big to get them to come into a situation like Charlotte and that market and everything. They just drafted LaMelo Ball to be the face of their franchise, somebody we all think pretty highly of. So you put your rookie point guard in a pretty good situation with a vet presence like that. I kind of expect him to look like the Gordon Hayward of old, like what he was in Utah, because he's gonna have the ball in his hands a lot more than he did in Boston, and it'll be a lot less force from what Brad Stevens was kind of trying to do with him there as well.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you're gonna have to pay to kind of get those guys, especially go to a situation like Charlotte. The thing with Charlotte is they haven't done good with the draft. When you're like a small market team or a team that nobody wants to go to, you kind of have to really hit big on the draft. So since they haven't been able to hit big on the draft, sometimes you just have to take a chance like this. I know a lot of people are saying that because of his injury histories and things like that, that it's kind of bad how much money they gave him and how long the contract is. But you got to take the risk because if it works out and he gets back to his Utah days, then you end up having maybe your number one option on your team, or maybe your number two option. You go get somebody else. Things like that. If LaMelo Ball turns into a player, a lot of us think he can be. Then maybe you got a duo there. So it it may not work out, but if you're Charlotte, you kind of have to take those chances because if it does work out, the risk reward factor is kind of high if it works out for them. So I like it for them. Maybe the length of it and how much money, but like I said, you got to overpay to kind of get those guys to come to a situation like Charlotte that doesn't seem like it's the greatest situation in the world.
Yeah, let's look at the core group there. You have Devontae Graham. That was really his team last year. He was really putting on the show over there in Charlotte. You just, like we said, you just drafted LaMelo Ball. Now you bring in Gordon Hayward as well. I don't know exactly what they'll do with Terry Rozier now, whether it's going to be bringing him off the bench or if you're looking to move him going forward. You got Malik Monk there as well. Hasn't really lived up to the expectations that were set for him coming out of the draft. But, he's a guy I don't think they've given up on. And then you got Miles Bridges there as well, who's another guy that can definitely put on a show. So Michael Jordan has kind of put a nice little group together. Like I said earlier, this is a group that I think they can make a playoff push around like that spike for that 7-8 seed. This is just me talking based on what I see in Lamelo Ball. But I like the group there, and for a guy like Michael Jordan, who hasn't really had a lot of success as a team owner over there, as well as president of basketball operations. They made the playoffs, I think, once or twice under his tenure back when Kemba was there. But overall, they've been in a lottery a lot. He hasn't made the greatest draft decisions. It's probably the best. Not probably. This past draft was the best position he's been in since his time started over there. So I think you can only go up from here, right? So I like the position that they're in right now.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, sometimes you got to overpay. They did the kind of same thing with the Batum situation. It didn't work out for them in that case, but like you said, since he's been there, they made the playoffs twice. They lost their star player. Terry Rozier went there. I think that's someone that's maybe tradable now. Maybe you can expend him a little bit with LaMelo Ball, or you keep them both in the backcourt. So things can look up for Charlotte. Maybe they can make a little playoff run, but it all depends on the health of Gordon Hayward. And that's why a lot of people didn't like the deal right now. But I'm all for it. You just got to take the risk because like I don't think anyone wants to go to Charlotte, especially with Kemba leaving. So it's like that's kind of it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. But like I said, the future there right now, we gotta wait to see it. But I'm not mad at the moves that they've made so far. Also, within the hour, Avery Bradley, who's the starting point guard for the Lakers this year, he signed a 2-year deal with the Miami Heat, according to his agent. It's a little shocking to me. I did not see that coming, but I did see some beat writers over in Miami mention that they were kind of monitoring to see what Jay Crowder would do with the offer that was sent his way. And if they didn't do anything, they did have a free agent that they would look to if he was going to go elsewhere. So I'm assuming that Avery Bradley was the guy. Now, with Avery Bradley signing there, I mean, he fits into what they do there. We know Miami's big on defense, the culture and everything. They said that that's what he was really sold on. So with him going in there, it makes me wonder exactly what's going to go on there. Because this past year, they shuffled a little bit. You had Kendrick Nunn, who was the Rookie of the Year runner-up as their starting point guard all season. He gets COVID, comes back, doesn't play that well. They make the change to have Goran Dragic go from coming off the bench to starting. Goran Dragic was their leading scorer all season as well. He's also re-signed with the Miami Heat in a 2-year deal with a team option in the second year. Then you got Duncan Robinson, another one of those Heat culture guys undrafted, who was the starting 2 guard all year, sharpshooter. But now after bringing Goran Dragic back and bringing Avery Bradley, and you kind of wonder how that rotation at the 2 guard position is going to go, especially with another guy like Tyler Hero as well.
Yeah, definitely. I don't really know, but it's someone that they kind of not needed to bring in, but someone that's good. If you look at them in the finals, Hero was able to have a good playoffs, but when it kind of got to the finals, you maybe needed a couple extra veterans out there, especially with Goran Dragic going down. So I think it's a good move for them. Like you said, he fits the Heat culture. He's one of those guys going to work hard out there defensively and things like that. So I figure you with Crowder leaving, like you said, maybe you try to play Avery Bradley a little time at the three, a little time at the two, maybe a little time at the one. So you just, I guess, maybe get the players and then worry about how they all fit later on. So maybe we'll see him play a little bit at the three. See here, we saw Hero play a little bit at the one when they were in the NBA Finals and Dragic went down. So maybe you see those guys be a little more interchangeable to make time for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. We mentioned Avery Bradley signing over there. I think that once I saw that Avery Bradley had signed with the Miami Heat, the writing on the wall for Jay Crowder was pretty much there. He signs a 3-year deal with the Phoenix Suns. The first thing I know to pop in your head is Phoenix is really putting together a roster to try and make a run in that Western Conference.
Yeah, definitely. I talked about it on here a couple of weeks ago that they kind of really need to start putting a team together to keep Devin Booker. We heard about the reports and maybe he wants to go to Minnesota and things like that. We know that he likes Phoenix, but he wants to be part of a winning team. I talked about how they kind of have to build on what they did last year and their time in the bubble, kind of what they did when Monty Williams got there. So they get more veterans in there around him, like Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, people like that. Is just gonna help so they can kind of make a playoff spot and maybe win a playoff series or maybe two and maybe keep him around longer so he doesn't end up over in Minnesota or something.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure, for sure. But so I like what they're doing over there moving forward. And not only that, but I think the other, and we're running through these real quick here, as you can see. This is our first time doing this, or whatever. Fred Van Vliet, who's a point guard for the Toronto Raptors, undrafted guy. He was a key cog for them in their championship run, key cog for them last year in their playoff run as well. He got paid $85 million, 4-year deal to re-sign with the Toronto Raptors. I like it. I'm very happy for him. But not only am I very happy for him, but when I look at this move, I know that they're setting themselves up for the future of that team. He looks to be the future guard for that team. So now I wonder, is is Kyle Lowry's time in Toronto ticking with this move being made?
I don't think so. I think the Raptors kind of like how that backcourt kind of played together. I think Van Vliet came off the bench like I think 2 years ago, and I think he started last year. So I think they kind of like how that backcourt works together. They're both kind of interchangeable. I know Van Vliet can be like a little spot up shooter or just maybe a combo guard attacking off the catch and things like that. So I think I don't think this means that the writing's on the wall for Kyle Lowry. I just think that maybe they like their backcourt a lot and then kind of want to keep what they got together.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. We'll keep an eye on what they're doing over with the Tampa Bay Raptors. I got to get that off right there. They'll be playing over in Florida for a little bit until things get situated with the whole border rules and COVID and all of that. Um, so last year, I know my boy Shad might be watching this, so he might like what I'm saying here. Last year, we got on the Knicks, right? The Knicks went and signed with 4 or 5 power forwards and free agency. We're like, what the heck is going on? What are they doing? The Detroit Pistons this year said, New York Knicks, hold my beer. They signed not one, not two, not three, about 4 big men in a league that is no longer centered around big men. So, they bring in Jahlil Okafor, they bring in Plumlee. They brought in a couple guys there, man. I'm sitting here like, what is going on? Blake Griffin is probably not the happiest camper right now over in Detroit. So what are you seeing from the Pistons? We're actually run by a man that's actually from your favorite team's front office.
Yeah, I need to. They have made so much moves. I need to see their roster again. All I remember is them just making a lot of moves. I know they signed Jeremy Grant too, so that's interesting. They I don't know what they're doing over there. I think I like some of their draft moves and things that they did like that, but maybe a trade for Blake Griffin's in the works. I know a lot of people been saying maybe it's time to maybe get rid of him, Derrick Rose, and things like that. So maybe a trade for Blake Griffin's in the work. And then as far as the kind of the other big guys, I think Jeremy Grant, maybe they think they can play him at the 3 a little bit and then at the 4 a little bit, and then Miles Plumlee and Okafor would be 2 centers. So I think maybe they feel like they got a couple players that are interchangeable. Maybe they can buy some time for them at the 3 or something like that. And then maybe there's a couple trades in the work to get rid of some of the big guys that they have there already. Because I think he did say it's not going to be a full rebuild, but he did say he's going to change a little things around. So maybe Blake Griffin is kind of out the door right now. So it would be interesting to see over there. But they definitely saw what the Knicks did last year and said, we're going to top that. We're going to top that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Speaking of the Oklahoma City ties and everything, Oklahoma City continues to stack up their draft picks. They move on from Steven Adams in a 4-team deal. What are your thoughts on that deal and everything that they just got done over there last night?
Well, Steven Adams, they've been kind of saying they were going to get rid of him. I know his name was in trade rumors kind of at the trade deadline and things like that. So I just think it's Sam Presti. He took full rebuild to the super 10th extent. He's trying to get every draft pick that he can. He's getting rid of everybody. I think the only starter so far I can think about that's back is Shea Gilgeous Alexander. So I think he's just trying to stack up, being from a small market and knowing how it goes. I think he's just trying to stack up as much draft picks as he can, and then when it's time to come, maybe he'll take a couple of those, try to trade up in the draft and things like that. But he's definitely taking it to the 10th degree. He's trying to get every draft pick out there. So anyone that's there, I think George Hill just got traded there. I think he's going to. So watch out for him to be traded again for maybe a first or second pick or something like that. So I think Sam Presti just going full on rebuild mode. Last year he tried to do a rebuild. We made the playoffs. He was like, this year I'm not leaving it up to that. Full rebuild. Give me draft picks and the youngest players you can find. So this is gonna be one of those wait and see things how it works out for him. But he's definitely coming for every pick.
Yeah, yeah. I know you guys said my audio was sounded a little low. You gotta let me know. Let me know if I'm coming in better. Yeah, like I said, let me know if I'm coming in, if my audio is coming out a little better now. But I guess the other things, Derrick Jones Jr., slam dunk contest winner for the Miami Heat this past season. He signs a 2-year deal with the Portland Trailblazers. I had kind of looked at, once I saw that Miami drafted Precious Achiuwa from Memphis, and seeing he's a very athletic forward. Seeing his game, and it's very similar to Jones. As soon as they made that draft pick, I'm saying, I'm wondering what his future with the organization is like moving forward. Kind of got the answer I was expecting with him signing this deal. It's a little shocking just because I know Miami really wanted to run that team back, so they lose Derrick Jones Jr., they lose Jay Crowder, but. What are your kind of expectations for the Miami Heat going forward with everything that they've kind of put together so far? They bring back Kelly Olynyk. They bring back Myers Leonard, who's actually his 3-point percentage is the greatest of all time for any big man. You know, he just kind of lost his way out of the rotation after he dealt with an injury going back into the bubble. They still got Adebayo. They still got Butler. You know, what are your expectations going forward with the team that they're looking to put out there so far?
I think losing Jay Crowder could maybe be a little bit of a hit. Besides that, I think they kind of have their same roster for the most part. Losing Derrick Jones Jr. is kind of maybe a little bit of a hit, but they got the rookie. They got Mo Hartless who just signed with them, so maybe they have a player or two who can maybe fill in for him. Hopefully, you bring in Avery Bradley, who's another defensive guard and things like that. So I think that with KD and Kyrie and them coming back, like I said, I expect them to be in the finals, so it's going to be tough for them. But I think they're kind of about the same kind of where they were. Maybe we see if they make some more upgrades, but I think they're gonna be the same. This kind of the same old Heat. I expect them to maybe make it to the conference finals again, maybe second round, depending on how the matchups go, and then they could make it back to the finals again. I got KD in them, but who knows how that's gonna work out. So I think the Heat are kind of exactly where they want to be. They're still trying to stay in that ballpark to get Giannis in next year or something like that. So I think this year, I don't want to say it would be great if they get back there, but they got their eye on Giannis, and after that, that's when they kind of want to start going for those chips.
Yeah, well, you mentioned you're talking about Brooklyn getting over there, man. I know you like some of the moves that they made over the past couple of days. What are you thinking about Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, I think they're fine. They kind of kept their pieces together. It was smart to bring back Joe Harris. You know, they need that shooter out there. Someone's gonna space the floor for KD and Kyrie when they go out there. I think Brooklyn's an interesting spot because are they going after Harden? Are they not going after Harden? Who are they willing to trade for Harden? Things like that. So I don't know how much moves they kind of maybe want to make here or not make here. If they're gonna have Harden, they want to start building without Harden, with Harden. So Brooklyn's an interesting spot for me. But either way, I think bringing back Joe Harris is something you have to do because he just spaces the court. No matter if Harden's with them, if Harden's not with them, they still need someone to space the court.
Yeah, a couple more caveats before we get out of here. You know, actually, I want to focus on the Clippers. The Clippers made a trade and sent Landry Shamet over to Brooklyn, which I thought was pretty shocking because he was a very good piece for them moving forward. So Brooklyn gets another shooter off the bench, scoring off the bench for them. But then they lose man of the year Montrezl Harrell to the Clippers, and I know they're looking to get in to get Rondo over there, but you know maybe make some other pieces, make some moves to get some other pieces in there. What thoughts on the Clippers moving forward here, man?
Uh, I think it's interesting. I mean, we did hear some problems about them having locker room problems and things like that, but kind of the team that Kawhi went there to maybe play with is not there no more. So I think they need to make some changes, whether it's a trade, sign some players, or whatever they need to do. Losing Montrezl Harrell is kind of big for them, I think, especially with him going right across the street to the Lakers. I think that's huge. They're gonna need another. They have Lou Williams still, but I think they're gonna need another kind of six man, big man to kind of come off the bench for them. That kind of giving them what Montrezl Harrell did, and he gives them energy. So I think they're gonna need to replace all that. Also, for me, I was kind of confused with the trade for trading Landry Sherman. I think that was kind of confusing to me. I think he was kind of a shooter that they needed. I know he was hurt a little bit last year, but I think that was a shooter that they kind of needed to help space the floor. I know Luke Kennard's a shooter too, but I think from what we've seen so far, I think Landry Sherman was someone who maybe fits them a little better and as a shooter and things like that. So I don't know maybe what they seen in Luke Kennard, but I think that trade was a little confusing to me. But the roster that they had last year, that we all thought was this championship roster, is definitely depleted a little bit. So it's I think they need to add a couple because if you think about it, I think the Lakers got better. They had the Clippers kind of got worse. So the Clippers kind of have to make a couple moves here. I know they did get Marcus Morris to return, but they need to make a couple more moves to get better because they're going backwards a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And they definitely have to make some moves over there. You mentioned the Lakers. The Lakers have just had a field day from the draft on with what they've been able to do. Again, look at they haven't re-signed Anthony Davis yet, but all points obviously all signs obviously point to him returning over to the Lakers. They got to be the favorites to win it all again based on the moves that they've made. I want to go back to the East though, in the organization that I thought has probably done the best job since, and that's the Philadelphia 76ers. Daryl Morey has gone over there. He has hit the ground running. from the trades that he has made to fix the problems that they had over there to the draft picks that he's made. You know, they signed Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is doing Dwight Howard things. I remember, I'm gonna tell you guys a nice little story here. Back in the day, Dwight Howard said he was gonna re-sign with a team, reneged on that, and went to go sign somewhere else. Last night, Dwight Howard puts out a tweet. He says that he's coming back to Laker Nation. He deletes the tweet. Shams Charania, he goes on and he says Dwight Howard's going to resign and he has to go correct himself. That was pretty funny. And then Dwight Howard, we come to find out he is signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. So that's one aspect of that. You got your big man coming off the bench. The other thing is they bring in two guys to space the floor for them in Seth Curry, Danny Green. Doc Rivers goes from coaching his ex-son-in-law to his current son-in-law. I like everything Daryl Morey has done over there so far, and I have a feeling he's not done yet. What do you say?
The same. I like all the moves they did. We know how Daryl Morey is. We've seen it with his time with the Rockets. He's one of those analytics guys. He wants shooting. He wants space in the floor, and that's what we've been saying the Sixers need. And that's definitely what he went out there and got. I think going to get Doc Rivers' stepson after he just played with his ex stepson was a great move. Smart move by both of them. You said hold on.
No, I said in-law.
Oh yeah, my bad. In-law. Yeah, for them for him to make that upgrade is definitely the smart thing for both of them to do. So yeah, just getting shooting over there is what we've been talking about for forever with the Sixers and what they needed. So now that they got it, I think Maury's been over there doing exactly what we know what he likes to do, getting shooting. So I like their moves. I think this helps them. I still don't think they're going to beat the Nets, but I think this helps them get to that conference finals.
Yeah, well, you mentioned those to the two teams in the East over there. We want to mention one other one, the Milwaukee Bucks. We talked about with you guys last week, them bringing in Drew Holiday, and then at the time we thought that they were bringing in Bogdanovich. Turns out that deal fell apart because he did not want to sign his end of the signing trade, so he falls out of there. But what do you see? What do you see from the Milwaukee Bucks with everything they've done so far? They brought in some more shooting over there for Giannis and everything. Like, what's the expectations? And do you think they've done enough to keep him in Milwaukee?
Uh, I like their moves. Not being able to get Bogdanovich just kind of maybe hurt them a little bit. But I like Drew Holiday. We all know we know Drew Holiday is maybe one of the most underrated players in the league. We seen he was able to do when he was with the Pelicans when they made the playoffs and things like that. So I like Drew Holiday. They needed another ball handler, someone that can create. He's also great on defense, so you get you a two-way player. So I think he helps them a lot. They might need to make one or two more moves before I would say that he's locked to kind of stay. But I think bringing in Drew Holiday is definitely an upgrade, something that makes them kind of less predictable. Last year was kind of a lot of Giannis drive and kick, Giannis creating a lot for people. So now you got someone else that's gonna be out there creating a lot for people, and then you were able to keep Middleton. So I think with those two things, I think they need to upgrade just a little more. With Bogdanovich, I would have said maybe this is the team that can kind of get them over the top because he brings someone else that's a shooter, space the floor, but he also could create. So I think they one more move, and I would say that maybe he's a lock to stay. But I definitely think they got better from last year.
Sure, man, for sure. So I just got some breaking news over on my notifications here through ESPN. Rajon Rondo is not coming back to the Lakers. Don't know where he's signing yet, but he will not return to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, I kind of said that on the last episode. I think with them getting Schroeder, it kind of makes sense for him not to come back. Those two guys are kind of the same player. They both aren't the greatest shooters. They both kind of need the ball in the hand a little bit to create and do things like that. So I think with them bringing in Schroeder, who's going to probably come off the bench for them, kind of takes Rondo's spot. So I kind of figured Rondo wasn't going to come back. And we saw how the Clippers are kind of maybe going heavy for him. So the Clippers kind of been an interesting spot. So that news is not surprising to me with the Schroeder move that was made earlier in the week.
All right, yeah. So I guess one other thing before we get out of here was we reported on the Wizards, Rockets talking about sending Russ over to Washington and John Wall over to Houston. And we mentioned how those talks had kind of died out because Houston wanted some draft compensation that Washington wasn't able to give up. We now come to find out John Wall apparently wants out of Washington. And I'm going to completely agree with what you told me, and that is John Wall salty because his name came up in trade conversations. I know there's also been some talk about how, apparently him and Bradley Beal really don't want to play together anymore, which is weird because Bradley Beal in public has completely said the exact opposite. But, I mean, hey, what are you going to do? What do you think? Oh, by the way, Jeff Green signing with the Nets.
Yeah, I just seen that. I think that's a good move for the Nets too. But as far as them, I think like I said, John Wall just saw his name in trade rumors and was kind of maybe a little shocked or whatever, and he doesn't want to be there anymore. We've seen that case with a lot of people. You see their names in trade rumors, and they're like, you know what? If you want to trade me, then I'll just leave. The reports about them not playing, wanting to play together no more, I think is interesting. I guess we kind of didn't see that, but I think Bradley Beal might be on some like, well, if you don't want to be here now, then I don't want to play with you either. So who knows who leaked the rumors about the Westbrook trade and stuff being out there, but there's definitely some problems over in Washington. But his contract is just as hard to trade as Russ's contract. So I probably now that Russ deal gets done, I probably don't see John Wall going anywhere. So you might just have to suck it up.
Yeah, for sure, man. We've seen on the Rockets and the things they come out and said they are okay with going into the season being uncomfortable and just running it back with Russ and Harden, even though it doesn't seem like either of those two want to be with that organization anymore. So until like someone can come to agree with what the Rockets want, or the Rockets are kind of temper their expectations on what they're going to get back down a little bit, it doesn't look like anything's going to get made. Anything is going to get done. Before we get out of here, man, there's a live chat. Is there anything you guys want to ask us about free agency? We are here.
I guess maybe we should maybe we should ask that a little earlier. But yeah, we are here to answer any questions that you guys have. Free agency.
We got some Knicks fans in here. We're not poo-pooing on you guys' moves. I actually think they did some good things in the past couple of days. So yeah, you guys got any questions for us? We're here to answer.
Yeah, I think the Knicks did some good moves. I mean, they cleared what $40 million in cap space, so that's a good start for them. Knicks fans always think they're gonna get everybody, so let them keep thinking that they're gonna get everybody. But they have the cap space now to do it. So
He said it, not me.
what happened?
I'm saying you said it. I didn't say
Oh,
it.
Shad said to relax. That's not. So y'all got the cap space. I like y'all draft picks. Obi Toppin was a good pick. I think y'all got the guard at Kentucky, which is going to be another great pick. So I think you got. As long as the Knicks don't turn back into the Knicks, I think you're doing great so far. You clear cap space. You got some nice draft picks. So you just got to trust the process from here.
Yeah, I think Toppin's kind of like that showstopper that they've been like waiting for a while now too. Like that kid, he's a box office talent between the dunks and everything, and it's a good pickup. But yeah, I mean, any questions you guys want to give us, man? We're here.
I think I heard rumors about Melo maybe coming back to New York, so that'd be interesting. That'd be maybe good for them. He'll be back on a cheap deal. There was something else I was about to say about the Knicks. I forgot, but Russ to New York. Russ is coming, so you guys relax. Your savior's coming. your savior's coming.
It's not happening. It's not.
Shout out to Russ, cause you guys really need it. Oh, what was I gonna say? Obi Toppin reminds me of maybe a young Stoudemire, so that's good for you guys.
You seen that draft comparison too? Like, do you think this free agency has had a lot of guys get overpaid? Yeah, I think the centers have been overpaid. I can't believe these centers have had the market that they've had, especially like Plum. The deal that Detroit gave Plumlee was like I didn't know Plumlee was that good to be getting the money that he got. Yeah, there's a few contracts that have been like. How is he worth that much? But I mean, it's kind of been the same way with the trades too. Like when you see like what the draft picks that they gave up to get Drew Holiday, and then the same with like Chris Paul and everything. So it's been this whole off season so far has been pretty weird. But yeah, I think. And from my estimation, anyway, as far as the centers go, I'm very shocked to see a lot of these big men get the contracts that they got.
Yeah, I think since the cap spike happened, I think like every year there's always like some crazy contracts going on that you're kind of like, whoa. So I mean, Jeremy Grant got $20 million a year, even though he played good for the Nuggets last year. But some of these contracts is kind of like, I guess I kind of got used to it. After the cap spike, everyone's kind of overpaid at this point. It just depends now.
I don't know if you guys remember too. A couple years ago, there was a big cap spike where a lot of guys got overpaid, and then the cap kind of went back down. So these contracts that these guys ended up getting ended up becoming like very bad value. Like I know Brooklyn was involved in a lot of that as well. Like the Lakers went under their former management had been giving away a couple of big contracts. So with these guys getting the contracts that they've gotten now, I'm kind of looking at it and saying we could see a similar situation in about a year or two moving forward.
Definitely, I think I know what you're talking about. They didn't. What's the Nick? Was he on the Heat? I think Boston tried. I mean, Brooklyn tried to sign him. Gary Clark goes.
Gary Clark is going to Orlando.
He was on Orlando already, so he's kind of returning to Orlando.
Okay. No, I was thinking the homeboy from fucking excuse my language. I was thinking I was thinking about man from yeah, I was thinking of Gary Harris. I'm tripping.
Oh, yeah. I forgot what we were just talking about. What were we just talking about?
The cap, and the bad contracts.
Oh yeah, Nick. Who's what's his name? Nick Johnson. The one y'all traded to Phoenix. He was like a lefty guard. He was on the Heat.
Oh, Tyler Johnson. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
Tyler
was
Johnson.
actually Brooklyn gave him that deal, and then Miami. He was a restricted free agent, so Miami just matched it.
Yeah, that was one of those. That was around that time when people were just signing crazy contracts.
Yeah. Anything else before we get out of here, guys?
And I think that's it. Shout out to Jeff Green going to Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn.
The Brooklyn Thunder.
Basically, if they get, I think Serge is kind of on
Yeah,
track to go.
Tony Durant said Surge is coming.
Yeah, it seems like Serge is on his way there too. Harden might be on his way there.
Maybe things don't work out with Kyrie, and they'll somehow get Russell Westbrook there too.
I don't think Russ is invited to this party. I
I
don't
don't
think
think
he's
so
invited.
either. All right, man. It doesn't sound like we got anything else coming from you guys. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. This was a special edition of the rundown. We'll see you guys in a couple of days as we get ready for the regular edition. If anything pops up, we will be back. So see you guys soon. Peace.